Hey, what's going on guys, it's Les here for a new video, and in today's video I want to show you a new car that I've just picked up. We've got a new daily. You're probably wondering, you bought a daily a few months ago, you bought the Puma, you want to use that as a daily, and that is 100% correct. When I bought the Puma, I just wanted to use it as a daily. I didn't think much more of it. I thought it was a really cool car, but as time's gone on, I really want to preserve the car. I want to take it off the road, do a restoration of the engine bay, fix all the rust problems. So that drew me to buying another car which is sat right next to me, which I'll show you. And the reason why I bought this car is because it's cheap to fuel, smaller engine size, looks nice, I love the design, I'm familiar with it. So you guys can probably already guess what it is. It is a Fiesta, as you can see. I'll take you around the car in a moment before we service it. I'm going to crack on and do some service bits after I've showed you a little bit about the car. But I picked it up about 2 hours ago, picked it up for £675, and it's immaculate. It's got 45,000 miles on the clock. Let's just have a look around and I'll talk to you about it while we look around the car. So this is the Mark IV gear model, 1.25 engine. Really nice. I love the paintwork on it. That's why, part of the reason why I picked it up. The paintwork was really nice and it came up for a great price. 45,000 miles. It's got the 1.25 engine, which is a lot better than the 1.3, which was previous to that, which Ford used for quite a long time. I really like the colour. Like I say, I'm a massive fan of the colour. That's pretty much what sold me on it. The condition of the car is pretty great. Interior is really nice. It's got a cream interior with a wooden dash, which is really nice. I actually really like it. It's not to everyone's taste. It's a bit of a Marmite thing, but I'm a massive fan of it. I think the cream interior looks really cool. I'm going to be digging it, but I'm also going to have to spend a lot of time making sure that I keep it clean. So that means maybe getting some seat covers for it. Preserving the interior is really nice, but it is a daily, so it is going to get a little bit run down over time. In this light, you can really see where the purple pops. There is unfortunately a dent here, which should be pretty easy to get out actually. I think I'll take the rear trim off at some point and just push it out. But it doesn't really bother me, you know, all that much. It's a daily, it runs well. It's going to get a service in a moment because I don't think it's had a service in a while. We're going to check out what the bits look like, I guess, what the oil looks like when it comes out. No sludge, hopefully. Check out the air filter, pollen filter, all of that. But I'm really happy with it. It's going to be a great car to use as a daily while we have the Puma off the road, so we can create loads more content for you guys. It's something that I've really been looking forward to and I've been planning out for a little bit, getting the Puma off the road and giving it a really nice restoration, getting the engine out, rebuilding the engine. It's going to take a while, but it's going to be really nice. So we'll have a little look in the engine bay. I'll show you guys. But yeah, a couple of little niggles, dinks, scratches around the sides. You probably can't see too well in this light, but if I come around the other side here, you can definitely see. Oh, maybe you can't. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there's a big scratch here, which is reminiscent of what I done with my first car, which was actually one of these. It was a blue one, but it was the 1.3 engine, which is absolutely awful compared to this engine. It was 1.3, it had less power, it drove sluggish, it was a nightmare, but this 1.25 engine is really nice. Before we look at the engine, this new design, Ford, the new Edge design, when they came out of all of this cool stuff, this era of Ford is what I really like I prefer, because I'm familiar with it. It was the first car that I ever owned, one of these, or at least this shape. It's a model that I'm familiar with and I'm very happy with it. They run well, you know, you keep them well maintained and they run perfect. So I've never really had an issue, and that's why I always like to stick with this model of Ford, the Puma, that sort of era. I really like it. So yeah, having a look under the hood, the engine's not too shabby. It's pretty clean in there. It could do with a proper little touch of mine, the Lewis touch. But for a daily, you know, it's clean enough. I can see my coolant level clearly, which is just under the max line. It's not bad. Probably top that up. A couple of bits missing, like these screws here, which I can get hold of. That won't be too hard to sort out there. But yeah, all in all, you know, the engine's pretty clean. I'm going to take it apart. Well, as far as service items go, I'm not going to take it apart, but I'm going to take some bits off in a moment, and let's see what we're looking at. Spark plugs, all of that good stuff, air filter, pollen filter, which I don't think's been changed ever. It does smell in there a little bit, so we'll check that out first, shall we? If it is really bad, I'll just take the one out of the Puma. Oh god, that doesn't look too great. Crossland as well. Oh god, yeah, that's not great at all. Jesus. Yeah, I'm replacing that. We'll check the air filter now, make sure that's all good. We've got a new genuine one here anyway, so we'll stick that in there too. It just looks like it's been Oh, looks like it's been serviced with just cheap parts. I don't think anything genuine Ford, just a load of crap. What's this? Oh god. Oh my lord, that doesn't look too great. Tap that out and... That's not too bad. I don't even know what brand that is, but it's Crossland, just cheap. You know, just looking at the new one compared to the old Crossland one, you can really see the difference in quality. This one's got two sort of bands. It's just a better quality filter, and this one's just got one. And it's really, really flimsy, whereas this one's, you know, a lot more rigid. So we'll stick that in there now. I've just hoovered out the airbox a little bit just to get some of the remaining crap out of there. That just sits in there like that. Stick that lid back on, and then we'll look onto the spark plugs and then finally get round to doing the oil there. So I'm going to get some spark plugs out now, see how they look. I'm sure they're probably looking a little bit shoddy. I'm not sure when the last time they were done, but we've got some fresh ones here as well. Well, I've just forgotten my extension, so I've got to quickly walk home, which is only around the corner. So I'm going to let that oil drain out meanwhile, and yeah, be back in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So looking at the spark plugs compared to the old ones, to the new ones even, they're definitely not awful. When I buy a car, I do like to give it a good service, so I like to replace everything that I can. It only costs me like 40 quid, so yeah, it's good maintenance. So yeah, we're going to replace these with these new Motocraft ones here. Alright, so plugs are all done now. I noticed on one of them there is some fouling, there's like an oil leak, but I've got a feeling that the rock cover's been done. The reason why is because these grommets on the top that hold the rock cover down look brand new. So they may have potentially been done, and they may not have cleaned up the spark plug wells properly, I'm not too sure. But just look at these bolts and these nuts, sorry. They just look brand new, so I've got a feeling that that's been done, which is really nice, which means that we don't have to do the rock cover. But at some point I would really like to take it off and give it a nice little layer of silver paint just to clean it up a little bit. But that'll be in the future. You know, this is something that I'm not really going to be doing extensive work on. I'm going to tidy up the engine bay for sure, because that's just what I do. But I don't think it needs too much to get there. It'll be quite a nice little thing to do while we have the real beast in my grandma's shed, getting ready to take it all apart and really get the project rolling. Oil filter's all done, putting in the oil now, and then we'll wrap things up in terms of the service. Not actually sure how much oil this takes, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm just going to go and check the capacity now in the owner's handbook, if it does have a handbook, capacity in the handbook, sorry. And if not, then I'll just eyeball it and go by the dipstick. Alright, service is all done now. Didn't actually take as much oil as I thought it would. I think it was only like 4 litres or something like that, which isn't too bad actually. It saves me oil, but then again, I've still got to pour the dirty oil in there because I've got nowhere else to put it, so that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, all in all, it's pretty easy to do, to be fair. I'm going to start up the motor now and see how she sounds. Got a bloody loud starter motor, that's working for sure. Puma's all tucked away now, looking forward to start work on it soon. So yeah, this is going to be tucked in my grandma's garage for God knows how long. Alright guys, so we're back in the Fiesta now, which is great. All seems good. Yeah, I think I made the right decision buying this car. Engine seems good, 45,000 miles, like I say, no visible rust, there's dinks and stuff, but you know, that's to be expected from a 21-year-old car. I just needed something that was a bit more economical, cheaper on the insurance. I think I've nailed it with this one. I think this is a really nice car. I really do like the interior and the colour of the car. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier about this year of Fiesta. This range is something that I'm a massive fan of. I've always really liked this range, and I always wanted to own one of these gears. 1.25 engine, you know, it's definitely a very nice engine to drive with. It's got absolutely, you know, no power at all, as compared to what I'm used to. But that's not what it's all about. It's going to be my daily driver and my get to work and back sort of thing. Basically do everything in while we get the Puma really looking quite nice and driving really nice. I bought this Puma as a daily, but it's a limited edition model. It's a pretty damn clean one. There is rust which can be tended to, and you know, it's going to take a while to get it to where I can, you know, really be happy with how the car is. But I think just taking that engine out, rebuilding that engine, taking some really good time out to do that, make sure that all the gaskets sealed, everything's just perfect, and then, you know, do the engine bay, and then move on to doing the rest of the car, getting it all resprayed, rust sorted, and doing the front suspension, rear suspension. I think that would be a really great investment. I think that it's going to be a really cool project, and there's no other, as far as I'm aware, Puma projects on YouTube, as far as I've seen. There's not really a lot of coverage of them on YouTube. Yeah, it's just something really special about that car that I really like. It's very unique in its own way. It drives really nice, and we can only improve on that. So I think that's the direction I really want to go with this channel. Spacing out the videos a little bit more, but when we do make content, making it something that's actually relevant and something that, you know, is relevant for the direction where I want to go with the car, not just plumbing bits together and hoping for the best. Really just documenting, you know, the build and getting it back up to scratch. I'm just trying to pull out. I don't really particularly want to die. One moment. So yeah, the car, like I say, is driving lovely. Really happy with it anyways. Back onto the subject. There's not really much else I can say really, but I was thoroughly surprised with this car. The interior, for its age and for the colour, there's not really any discoloration. There's a little bit of wear on the gear stick. It's a 21-year-old car, but for its age, absolutely fantastic condition. It's obviously never been restored, and it's just in great condition. I'm very happy. So I hope that clears things up with you guys there in terms of the direction that I want to go with the channel. I really want to involve other people in the videos as well, like we used to, but I think for the most part I just want to document the progress on the Puma and document the whole car thing really. So yeah, I just feel like the documentation of what I'm doing would make a lot more sense than for me to go out and film AAA sort of videos with an insane camera. So yeah, that's the route that I want to go to the channel. I hope you guys stay by for the journey. We're going to be making a lot of progress on the Puma in the next year, and hopefully even more progress over the next 2 years. We're just going to keep putting time into it. It's going to be great. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm on my way to go and get an air freshener now. It doesn't smell too bad in here now that I've taken the pollen filter out of the Puma, but I do want to get an air freshener because it smells a bit bland. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, I've been Lewis, you've been awesome, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.